All right, let's try this again. Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And to begin, we begin with the divisional round of the NFL playoffs as the Houston Texans fell short against the Baltimore Ravens. This was an anticipated way this battle was going to go. It was close. At halftime, it was 10-10. And then Baltimore took over. Lamar Jackson ran for a couple touchdowns, made some plays. The Texans, they didn't make a whole lot of changes. Bringing in CJ Stroud really they bumped up what was 3 wins last year, 10 wins this year. So that's very impressive. I still say DeMeco Ryan should be coach of the year. Like that I don't think has wavered. He's done a terrific job. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for this Houston team. I liked what CJ Stroud said, where he went and said, "You know what? I come from a place that this is a failure, and that this off season I'm going to work hard to get better." That's what you want from your young rookie. Say, "Yeah, this was good. We got here, but we need to be better than this." That's what you want. And the Texans weren't even supposed to be here. So that's the second impressive thing about all of this, is that a young coach, a rookie quarterback go and make it to the playoffs and do what they need to do. Win a playoff game, probably go against the best team in the league, in the Ravens, and lose. That just happens. But it just shows not there yet, but we're on the right path. You just needed their offense to show up, and they just couldn't in the second half. Or really the whole game. Next up, Packers-Niners. Niners had won 24-21 in a game where I think the Niners anticipate, it won't be that close. What are you talking about? And let me tell you something. It was that close. It was that close. It didn't need to be that close. But this is where we get to the part of, and I say this for the Niners, and I'll say this for the Bills and Chiefs later on. This is where your quarterback got. Like, the team kept you in the game to the point that your quarterback said, "Okay, I'm going to just stop messing up." In this game, Jordan Love looked terrific. Yeah, I mean, he threw 2 bad interceptions to Dre Greenlaw, but he looked fantastic in this game. Great game plan by Matt LaFleur. They start the game like they started the game against Dallas. We're going to run the ball. We're going to take the ball if we win the kickoff. We're going to go right down the field, burn a lot of clock, go and score, and do what we got to do. And they did. This game was tight. It was tied, and it was tight all the way down to the end. Brock Purdy did not play well. The rain really bothered him, in which the rain's going to bother any quarterback. But he didn't play well. He put a glove on to start the game, didn't work. Took the glove off, looked about the same. There was throws where he was high, and the guy was directly in front of him. He was high and to the outside of the receiver. It was not body catching. Deebo Samuel got hurt in this game. He has a chance to go play next week as he didn't suffer any major injury. But I'd definitely be concerned if I'm the Niners and I understand that the Packers are at one point but you can't lose to teams like this and be this close. So that's a concern, I think. But for the Packers, again, youngest team in the league, good coaching job by Matt LaFleur. You can make the case he should be coach of the year, and you wouldn't be wrong. Jordan Love is likely to get paid this year. A massive sum. The offense looked good. The line looked good. They completely neutralized the both Cowboys and Niners defenses. Just at the end of the day, a young quarterback making a rookie mistake. And he'll get better at that. But you can't say he didn't play well. He did. I think he played better than Jordan. I think Jordan Love played better than Brock Purdy, personally. I thought Purdy didn't play well. There was times. There was the one throw, I think it was late in the third quarter. He tries to throw the ball to Jennings, I think. And he just gets when he gets the snap, he goes and he like starts wiping his hand and then grabs it to throw it and still miss the guy. There was definitely a lot of issues. I mean, he was great on the final drive, sure. But those are chinks in the armor, I think, that needs to be fixed for San Francisco. But San Francisco doesn't have an easy bout as they have to face the Detroit Lions. The Lions beat the Buccaneers 31-23. In a game, look, Jared Goff was not his best, but he played really well. He made some throws. They ran the ball effectively. Jameer Gibbs had quite a game. This was the first game that the Buccaneers allowed a touchdown in 5 games. That was the longest since 2015. Going back to the Niners, they hadn't allowed a 100-yard rusher for 51 games. Aaron Jones was the one that broke that. 51 games, and finally Aaron Jones broke it. But Jameer Gibbs was unstoppable in this game. So was I thought Baker Mayfield played really well and Mike Evans played really well. I will say this. Similar to what I just said about Brock Purdy, who did not play well, the 2 interceptions that Baker threw were brutal. But I think the difference for Bucs fans is you didn't expect this team to get. Everyone ruled you out. You lost Tom Brady. Super Bowl hopes are gone. Now, I like the young linebacker Britt. I think he's going to be really good. He took over for Devin White for the majority, latter half of the year. So I could see Devin White leaving. Levante David's is out of contract. Mike Evans is out of contract. Antoine Winfield, excuse me, is out of contract. So there's guys you have to bring back. But I thought, this for Baker Mayfield to do this, very impressive. Just didn't hold on to the end. In the game, you say, well, 8 points, that means the coach messed up. No, they were down 13. They're down 14. You have to go for it at one point or another. You're going to have to more likely go to win the game. I understand why they did. Did they not get it? Yes. Does it sting? Absolutely. But do I think Todd Bowles regrets his decision? No. I don't. But that props to the Lions. Did a great job. Buccaneers did a job of bring the game back. Just weren't able to do it. But for all the people who said, "Oh, this team isn't going anywhere, Todd Bowles should be fired," I said Todd Bowles is probably not going to be there. We look like we're idiots right now because the way he coached the last month and a half. He looked good. And finally, the Chiefs versus the Bills. The Chiefs beat the Bills 27-24. The 3 words in Buffalo that I think have been exiled, taken out of all these dictionaries is wide right or wide to the right. As TJ Bass has a chance to kick a game-tying field goal. And he misses it wide to the right. That's a tough pill to swallow. And a lot of Bills fans know this story about Scott Norwood in the Super Bowl having a chance to go win it and the inability of going down the field to kick a field goal, to either win the game, tie the game, whatever, and missing it. Why? To the right. It's just a heartbreaker. It's not like the Chiefs played well, but they did enough. The shocker was they didn't run the ball at all when they could have. They easily could have ran. They easily could have ran the ball back. And that's if they would have ran the ball, made it closer, maybe we're having a different conversation. Maybe if Josh Allen gets it, we get the first down, we're salting away more clock, don't allow the Chiefs to have a chance to touch the ball until overtime. Instead, they throw it 2 times, which is fine. They had Stephon Diggs wide open. They don't throw it to him. They prefer to throw it to Shakir, which is fine, except Josh Allen missed him. And on the second throw, I don't know what he's doing. You make it a 5 field goal, and that was the end of that. TJ Bass missed it. And then your defense needed to get a stop and was unable to do so. That was it. And that's a heartbreaker for the Bills. So now it states for the AFC and NFC championship games. Chiefs at Ravens. Lions at Niners. This is gonna be fun. Especially that Niners Lions. Now, before we go, we got some news we have to break. Antonio Pierce was hired as the full-time head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. This was a decision put together by money, I would say. But the money tells me that you're paying 2 coaches to not be coaching you. Antonio Pierce feels like, okay, he's a young coach. The plan is for Marvin Lewis to be on the staff somewhat. Let's see exactly what happens with that. But Antonio Pierce, they ripped the interim tag off he is now the head coach. Plus, when you get endorsements from Max Crosby and Devontae Adams, you can't go in another direction. And I think part of this was also, let's talk about I think part of that would have been, if it's me, right, we need to make a decision on a coach, and we were in this situation with Bisaccia. We can't do this ever. We need a coach who the team believes in, who we believe in, and that's Antonio Pierce, and that's what they want. It's a smart call. So the two coaches hired first, Gerard Mayo and Antonio Pierce. Was there like any other kind of crazy news? Not really. We made we declared last week that Jason Kelsey was more likely going to retire. He has not put in the papers as of yet, so that technically means he's not retired. Could play another year of football. Whether that's with the Eagles or not, we are yet to know. But I think what really comes down to it, and we'll do this. The we'll go from at some point in the off season. We'll talk about these teams and what they should be looking for, either in the draft or in free agency. I will make note. I thought the Bills' defense in their game was not great, so I think there is an issue with. Let me make sure I have it before we get at it. Okay, here we go. Make sure one last thing. Here we go. Now, as make sure I want here. Okay, yes, we'll do this one. This is more childish. So Robert Griffin III, who now works for ESPN, he what this started between there's a argument that's continuing an ugly feud with his former coach Jay Gruden. And it first started with Jay Gruden talking about the Eagles versus the Buccaneers and a blitz heavy attack on the Buccaneers, saying, well, if I ever put a quarterback through what Philadelphia is putting Jalen through, I apologize. That was in January 16th. To which Robert Griffin III, in pretty quick time frame, about 30 minutes, said, say what? You did that to us all the time. After Griffin said that, Gruden went and said, you weren't prepared, Robert. Basically insinuating that RG3 wasn't prepared and it was his own fault of why they weren't winning games. To which RG3 then responded, you told me you didn't know how to coach a QB who could throw it, unlike me, so looks like you weren't prepared yet. And as it continues, it's gotten a little worse. But Gruden responded pretty sarcastically. He said, you're right. We didn't have a good enough staff. Sorry. Hope all is well with you. Which then Gruden had put out something a couple days later. Said you weren't good enough. Kirk was better. Cleveland didn't want you. Baltimore didn't either. Quit blaming me. So this is just, it's gotten weird, I think. It's it's like one of those argumentative situations that no one wants to put in. You get the in-laws together and the in-laws don't like your family, or your family doesn't like the in-laws, or for whatever reason you don't like each other. And instead of bringing in somebody to help mend that situation, you just keep going at it. One final thing. But the Bears are hiring a new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldrop from the Seahawks. What does this mean for Justin Fields? Well, I don't exactly know what this could mean. This Shane Waldrop is a very creative guy. But whoever you do bring in, whether it's a Justin Fields or Caleb Williams or whatever, you need to be prepared to bring a running offense. Because when you got Justin Fields, his greatest asset is his leg. He can throw the ball, but his greatest asset isn't throwing the ball; it's running the ball because it allows two different things. Caleb Williams is a talented thrower of the ball, but he's also good with his leg. So you gotta be willing to work with both. Obviously, the Bears feel comfortable enough with Waldron, excuse me, with Shane Waldron system to say, okay, if we choose to stay or move on from Justin Fields, we want this guy as the OC. Is it a shocker? I guess, but it was necessary bring someone in, or whoever is the quarterback for the Bears in 2024. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert. Out.